Got some special stuff this morning for Memorial Day. Before we get into our program, I just want to make a couple of announcements and get those things out of the way. First of all, if you've never been here, we get excited about Jesus. You'll see that later on. But we also get excited about being in a country that's free. We want to make sure that we take our time this weekend, and I'm going to get into that later, but we take time this weekend to honor those who gave their life so that we can sit here today. Amen. We're going to have special guests here today. We're going to have special programs and all that. It's an honor. It's an honor to be with you in church today. I want to make just a couple announcements. I'm going to have Mona come right now. She's going to make announcements about next week.
We've got two things starting next week, June 4th. The journey is definitely growing and God is stretching us. So I'm excited to announce that starting next Sunday, June 4th, our early childhood ministries is going to be taking off. So we will have something now from birth through 3 years old. So I know that there's moms here. Sometimes we have guests that want to come and there's nowhere for their kids to go. So downstairs, that'll be taking place. We've got volunteers all lined up. We've got the room ready and things are happening. So if you decide to take your kids down there at 9:30 in the morning on Sunday mornings, our volunteer will be down there. You can start dropping your kids off at 9:45, and they will give you instructions on how we're going to run that program for you. That way, if your child is crying or upset, you will know exactly what we're doing and how we're handling your precious cargo. Also, and if you're interested in volunteering for early childhood, come see me and we will get you on the schedule. Right now, we're set up for 3 months in advance. So we've got someone to take care of your babies. And also, side note, it is only for Sunday mornings at this time. We will not have early childhood as we're journey to recovery or Wednesday night services. But the more we grow, who knows? We'll get there. Secondly, what I'm excited about is we are starting next Sunday a membership and baptism class. So this will be offered once a quarter. So that four times a year. So June will be our first one. If you're interested in membership or you're wanting to get baptized, you must take the baptismal class. Or if you're wanting to become a member, you need to take the membership class. And this is for all of our new guests who come and want to know more about the journey, what we're about, what you see on Sunday mornings. But it's going to give you more of our foundational beliefs and where we stand and, like I said, what we're about. Baptism. If you're interested in getting baptized, you want to come to this 4 series class. It's going to be on Sunday mornings from 9:15 to 9:45. It's going to be a quick thing. You must attend those 4 classes before you can get baptized. So if you're thinking about that or have a friend that's wanting to do that, make sure you attend next Sunday morning. We'll be downstairs with Pastor Mark. I believe we're going to have some donuts and coffee. And then the 4th Sunday in June, we'll have the celebration of baptism. The next class won't be till September, and then the following one won't be till December. So if that's something you're really thinking about, you want to get on board now so you can get baptized the last Sunday of this June. And that's all.
A couple other things. We got men's trip coming up. That's going to be in the next two weeks from now. Contact Alfredo if you want to be involved in that. Everybody, if you turn around, he's waving his hand in the back. If you want to be involved in Sunday school, we want you to come next week. We're going to have some stuff going on with Sunday school. We want everybody to be involved as much as possible. When you get into the body of Christ, you are not supposed to be somebody who sits on the sidelines. This is not something you get in to watch other people do. You're supposed to be an active member of the body of Christ, and that's what we believe here in the journey. We don't believe it's 10% of the people and 90% watching. We believe that it's 100% doing the work of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Could we all stand this morning?
Yes, sir.
And could we all face the flag?
Yes.
As we start the national anthem. It's on the iPad. Tell you what, Don, why don't you lead them and I'll go back there and make sure we keep it up.
Gentlemen, if you could remove your covers for the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
You may be seated.
The Fallen Comrade Table. A place setting for one. The tradition of setting a separate table in honor of our fallen and missing comrades has been in place since the end of the Vietnam War. The manner in which this table is decorated is full of special symbols to us to remember our brothers and sisters in arms. The table is smaller than others, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his or her oppressors. The white tablecloth draped over the table represents the purity of their response to our country's call to arms. The empty chair depicts an unknown face, representing no specific soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine, but all who are not here with us. The round table shows that our concern for them is never ending. The Bible represents faith in a high power and the pledge to our country, founded as one nation under God. The black napkin stands for the emptiness these warriors have left in the hearts of their families and friends. The single red rose reminds us of their families and loved ones. The red ribbon represents the love of our country, which inspired them to answer the nation's call. The candle and its yellow ribbon symbolize the everlasting hope for a joyous reunion with those yet accounted for. The slices of lemon on the bread plate remind us of their bitter fate. The salt upon the bread plate represent the tears of their families. The inverted wine glass reminds us that our distinguished comrades cannot be with us to drink a toast or to join the festivities of the evening.
This morning we celebrate our fallen comrades who gave their life on the battlefield in service to their country. We've placed our armed services flags on the wall, and what I want to do is, if you're a veteran, when we call out, I want you to stand up. Okay, the United States Navy, have served. United States Army, thank you for your service. United States Marines, thank you. We salute you this morning.
Thank you.
United States Air Force, United States Coast Guard. Any coasties out there? Okay, our guest is a little bit late, so we're going to move through the service, and when he gets here, we will plug him in. In part of remembrance for fallen soldiers, on Memorial Day, the armed services usually give a 21-gun salute or a single cannon salute. Since we couldn't get enough rifles here this morning, we did manage to find a cannon. In remembrance of those who gave their life, the ultimate sacrifice, we're going to fire one round from the cannon. If you're sensitive, you may want to plug your ears. Are you ready? You'll hear it. Are you guys ready for VPD to show up? Let's all stand. Give a moment of silence. Moment of silence. Followed by cannon blast. Doing a thumbs up. I don't think we lost any windows. Okay. We'll continue on with Acts. I don't see Carlton here yet, so praise team, come on, let's get started.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to have my foundation shook. I think it's my house. So let's just get ready to get in the spirit of worship. So we serve an awesome God.
Thank you.
church. How you guys doing today? We're about to pray over this offering. My ushers can make their way up. Normally we pray and ask for us and we give everything up to the Lord, but since this is a special day to our troops, I would like for our prayers to go to them and their family, and I got something I actually want to read. So if we could just all bow our heads and close our eyes and keep them in our memories through this prayer. Father in heaven, I just ask you today, as we remember those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for the freedoms we enjoy every day, we think of how they followed in the footsteps of your Son, our Savior Jesus Christ. Please hold our servicemen and women in your strong arms. Cover them with your sheltering grace and your presence as they stand in the gap of our protection. We also remember the families of our troops. We ask for your unique blessings to fill their homes, and we pray your peace, provision, and strength will fill their lives. May the members of our armed forces be supplied with courage to face each day, and may they trust in the Lord's mighty power to accomplish each task. Let our military brothers and sisters feel our love and support in the name of Jesus. May you continue to heal the ones that are broke. May you continue to give to the ones in need, and most of all, give comfort to the ones that are lonely. In Jesus Christ's mighty name, our church says, amen.
While these continue to pray, I'd like to invite the mayor of Tulare, Carlton Jones, to come up here for a minute. How was that Memorial Day traffic out this morning?
This morning wasn't bad. Last night was kind of bad.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your family and what's going on in your life?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm a child of God. I'm born and raised in the church, so I grew up on God, like baby food, a long time ago. So I'm grateful for that. I also know that when you walk into God's house, I was glad when they said, "Let us go into the house of God." So when my friend Kathy invited me, I'm glad to come into God's house. So let me give honor to this congregation, to this pastor, to my friend Miss Luber for inviting me. My home church is Living Christ Church in Tulare, and I give honor to my pastor, and I give honor to my wife and family for allowing me to be away from them and come spend a little part of my morning with you all. So we always do that first. So thank God.
about your family. I read your bio. You've got some kids, don't you?
Yeah, a whole lot.
Tell us about it.
You know, so I'm a foster kid before they even had a foster system. I didn't know, never knew like the household of a mom and dad. Waking up in the morning to mom cooking or dad cooking. That wasn't my reality. And I love my reality. Every morning I woke up to a beautiful, strong grandmother who kissed me in the morning and talked to us real softly to wake us up, and then would take us outside and set us in the sun. And that's how we woke up, and that's how I grew up. To me, my cousins and whoever stayed with us from the church, those were my brothers and sisters. So I had a huge family. I didn't know why we all had different last names, but it didn't really matter to me. And then that's how I grew up. If you became my friend, you were my family. It didn't matter if your last name was Quinones or Caesar. That's how I grew up. That's all I ever knew. So I'm born and raised in Tulare. My dream, I knew I wanted to be a firefighter when I was 5 years old. And the cool thing is about when I knew God before I knew myself, and I never had fear of losing. And you guys have to have that. Because God didn't give us a spirit of fear, right? Amen. So when you say you want something, whether it's this is the job I want, or this is the wife I want, or the husband I want. Right. If you know when you get this thing down in your soul, you become unstoppable. And so I believe it. I knew when I was 5 years old, I wanted to be a fireman, so nothing was going to get in my way. And at 21 years old, I became a fireman. I was going to school in Sac State, and I remember sitting in the class with the counselor, and they asked me, well, what do you want to be? You're here on a football scholarship. And I said, I want to be a fireman. And she goes, well, you really don't need to go to college to be a fireman. And I was like, okay, well, as soon as I'm finished playing football, peace. I'm out. And I did. I left my senior year in college. I didn't finish. I'm not against education, believe me. If they say you need a degree to do what you want to do, get your degree. But at that time in 1994, I didn't have to have it. I knew what I wanted. I applied for a job in Tulare. The first time I applied, I didn't get it. And I didn't put my head down. I wasn't sad. The very next day, I went into a meeting with my fire chief, Al Miller, and I asked him, how come you didn't hire me? Be honest with me, so just tell me what I need to do and I'm going to go fix it. And he was honest with me. He said, you know what, you came into an interview, you did good on your physical test, you did good on your written test, but I hate saying poor, I didn't have a lot of finances as a kid, but we were rich in love and rich in spirit. So I wasn't poor, I didn't have a lot of money. So when it was time for me to go to my interview, I wore my best jeans I had and just the ugliest. To me it was cool, but it was black with lime green and purple diamonds all over the shirt. But it was the best shirt I had. And I ironed it and it looked clean. But my chief told me because I didn't have a suit, it showed a lack of maturity. And I was like, all right.
What's not mature about lime green diamonds on it?
Well, when I went into the interview, everyone else had suits on, so I knew something was up. And so,
they were way overdressed.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, I grew up around drinkers and smokers, and I was always the sober kid. But one thing, I was the one that made sure my friends got home safe. No matter what, if I was at a party, they knew I was the one not drinking. I was still cool and I could still dance. And believe me, I still had. I used to, and I'll pause. I'm gonna get back to what I said. I used to think because I was sober or never had a drink and never would smoke anything that I was okay with God. But later in life, He showed me that being close to hell is just as bad as being in hell. There's a whole lot of things that I we got them together. We'll pray I got them together. But going back, so I'm hanging out with a bunch of my buddies, and I'm 20 years old, and it was 2 of them that just turned 21, and we were barbecuing, and everybody was just having a good time, and 2 of them were going to take off to Las Vegas to celebrate being 21. And the rest of us, the ones that were too young, we stayed at the house. So they took off to Vegas at like 5 o'clock, and we're having a barbecue and a swim party. And at about like 1 o'clock in the morning, my buddy Joe called me and says, "Hey, you guys got to come to Vegas." And I'm like, "Dude, we're not coming to Vegas. We've been up all day." He's like, "You have to come to Vegas. I won a lot of money." And I'm like, "Well, how much did you win?" And he was like, "Guess." And I was like, to me, a lot of money. I was like, $5,000. And he was like, "More than that." And I was like, $10,000. And he was like, "More than that." I'm like, "Come on, man, we can do this all day." And he says, "I won $280,000. So the rest of my friends piled into a 2-door Cadillac Coupe Limousine. And there were 7 of us up all night. Since I was the only one who wasn't drinking, I was driving. Had never drove to Vegas, but I didn't get lost. Something was drawing me over there. $280,000. So we get there, and he was at the Mirage. They were treating us like kings. They put us up in this big old suite. The next morning, my buddies, we all went out, and he bought us Ray-Ban sunglasses and nice suits.
You needed a suit.
I did. So he bought us tailor-made suits, and we're walking around Vegas like we weren't from here. We shook off the cow poop smell, and we're walking around Vegas like we're from the big city. And this crazy moment is, we're all kind of hanging out, and he says, "Hey, I'll give you $1,000 to drink a beer." And I'm like, "No." He says, "I'll give you," and he counted it out in cash, "I'll give you $5,000 to drink a beer with me." And I didn't even think about it twice. I was like, "Nope." And he gave it to me anyway.
Good.
We get back from Vegas, and it's about almost a year since I didn't get my fire job, but I knew it was going to be mine. If anything that God has for you, no one can take it away. Not even you. If God says you're going to be here, it doesn't matter. You can walk and run and fight it as long as you want, but you're going to end up right where God wants you. You can fight it your own life. So I knew it was going to be mine. Chief called me back and said, "Hey, the person that I hired over you didn't complete probation. I would like to bring you in another interview." I had my Las Vegas suit. I had a nice tie and the clean Ray-Bans. We didn't even have to sit down and walk. I walked in and he goes, "You're hired."
Awesome.
Here's where the picture is. I was 23. Now I got hired I was 21, and all that freedom, like being independent, that is so overrated. So overrated. I was 20. My grandma's house payment was $90 a month. So, and she lived in the same house that my mom and dad grew up in. So I figured I can go take my money and go get my own place and pay about $500 a month, or I can take $200, pay all of my grandmother's bills, and be her hero. And I did. And I still listened. I got slapped in the face for falling asleep on her couch. That's a black thing. You don't fall asleep on a black lady's couch. Not the good ones. I don't know how many black friends you guys have, but black people have 2 sets of furniture. There's furniture you sit on, and then there's furniture we just let people see. And I fell asleep on the don't fall asleep on this furniture. I felt my grandma give me a little pop in the face, but I stayed with her, and I'm saving my money. I wanted to buy a house, and I'm paying all her bills. And I used to compete. I know it doesn't look like now. I used to compete in this thing called the Strongest Firefighter Alive competition. And I would drive to Vegas a couple times a month and train with those guys. I was 23, no kids, making good money, loving life, and I'm going to Vegas probably 3 times a month. Still never drank. I didn't gamble, but they just had buildings that we can train on that we just don't have here in the valley. And one day I'm in Vegas, and my grandma calls me and says, "Hey, your sister had her kids taken away because she had a baby with drugs. They're in foster care. I need you to go get them." I'm like, "Go get them for what?" She's like, "Well, you need to keep them." I'm like, but I pulled the phone.
I'm still a kid.
I pulled the phone and I'm like, no, that's not happening. No. And so my grandmother simply told me, "Where would you be if I thought like that?" And that's what she told me. And I came home. I went and got my nieces and nephews from foster care. I'm 23 years old, barely learning how to take care of myself. And I had a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, and my baby was still in rehab. She had to be weaned off of the drugs, and I got her out when she was 8 months. Today they're 23, 22, and 19. And those were my first 3 kids. And so it was at 23, when you're trying to date, and all the girls ask it. They ask the right questions. They're like, "So you have any kids?" And I'd be like, "Kinda." And then they go, "Well, how many kids do you kinda have?" And I say, "I have 3." And then like, "All from the same mom?" I'm like, "Yes, they're all from the same mom." I'm like, "Do you guys still have a relationship?" Like, "Yes, my sister." And then be out. So I had to, she's mad at me, like I said. Yeah, that was my reality. So dating was hard, but I ended up getting married. My wife today, actually, I asked her out to the prom my senior year, and she told me no, and we both kind of had our own lives, but we're married now. She had 2 kids who are my beautiful stepkids. They're my kids. I've raised them for the last 15 years. My daughter's in the Navy, and we have 8 total kids. They're all great. I love them to death. They're a challenge. Boys are easy for me because I'm hard on boyfriends. I know it, but I love all my kids. And yeah, I've just been blessed with them. And they keep bringing kids home. They all have my personality, so I got tons of kids.
Being in the fire services, how do the fire services memorialize the firefighters who are lost in the line of duty?
It's firefighters lost in the line of duty is tough because we know every day we go to work that the reality you see that some of us don't get to go home could one day be our reality. And when you work with someone that you have to trust your lives in their hands. And we're such a free nation in a free world, and I have to accept the fact that not everyone believes like I believe, and it's not my job to go scream at everyone that sit and say, "I'm a Christian, you have to be a Christian." Jesus doesn't want us to be like that. I have to let my life be the ministry, and when they get in a situation and they see me in similar situations and they wonder, how can you smile through that? How do you get through that? Your dad, I responded to my dad's passing away, his own heart attack on the job. I'm working, I get a 911 call, my dad's having a heart attack. And people ask me, how can we keep it together? And then when they fall or they're hurting, they see our ministry and they come to us. Yeah. And then that's, it's not me or anything I said that draws them, it's the Spirit that draws them. And we just have to be, as a church, as a person, ready to accept them. That's it. And you can't, if, someone who says I'm a Christian and then someone is drawn to that and they hurt them, we're not doing the work that you can't do that. So as firefighters, we have a job to do. As Christians on this planet, we have a job to do. And a lot of people think that those are supposed to be separate, but they're not. They're not supposed to be separate. When God said, "Let there be light," darkness didn't disappear. He then said scripture, and then he had to come back and say, "Then I'm going to separate the two." So all we have to do is wait for our separation know that we're going to be present with darkness and light and be ready to accept it. As a firefighter, I have to be ready to accept them in every situation, especially when we go to work. We don't want to lose people. We don't. People. One thing I know, it's cool to think that firefighters ride on fire engines. They can wear those big blue suits, but that's the good side. That's the light. There's a dark side. Just last night, I ushered 3 souls from the living to the non-living. 3 people I saw that don't get to do this today, and not a lot of people see that. If you know me, I'm so against senseless dying, especially like DUIs, and I talk about it. And a lot of people don't get my passion for that because they may deal with it a couple of times in their lifetime. It may hit close to home. I see that 100 times a year, and then it's a lot, but it's a soulful, hard thing to get used to. Firefighters and police officers or military personnel are so used to seeing the last days of people that even when it's one of us, you gotta get back to normal. The day everybody saw the video of our fire captain in Fresno where he fell through the roof and it caught fire. That was one of people that why do firefighters get on the roof? We had got on the roof 2 times before that fire and 2 times after that fire. You see it happens, you gotta go back to work. That's all public safety. They see something and they go back to work. So what we do, especially in times of memorial, we have to make sure that we have resources set up to help those who aren't smoothly making that transition.
What does Tulare have set up for Memorial Day tomorrow?
Well, for Tulare, most of our memorial celebrations go through our AMVETs or we have military assistance programs through our library. I let them set those up. And as the mayor, I'll have tons of invitations to go by and show my respect to them. We, as a city, we make sure all of our parks are clean. We go do an extra one-over because we know it's a time that families are coming in and we want them to be able to enjoy each other in our city. That's part of our responsibility.
Well, we thank you for being here this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Carlton.
Let's do that again. Let's give him a round of applause. This morning.
Thank you.
Man, we're gonna. What is it? We keep getting the biggest guys to come up here and talk, and then when I come up here afterwards, I feel like I'm barely getting up over the. Where'd you go? Memorial Day. The first known concept or idea of Memorial Day came with the Confederate South, where they memorialized the graves of the Confederate soldiers. But the first recognized Memorial Day happened in Waterloo, New York in 1868. General John Logan then officially proclaimed May 30th as Decoration Day to honor the Civil War soldiers, until after World War I, where we began honoring all soldiers who had fallen in battle. In 1971, Congress declares the last Monday in May as Memorial Day. In the year 2000, President Bill Clinton would designate 3 p.m. local time, wherever you're at, as the moment of remembrance for Memorial Day. Memorial Day is about honoring those who gave their life in pursuit of freedom and to observe their selfless sacrifice. And I think what we ought to do right now is just one more time, let's all stand. I think we need to just close our eyes and take a moment just to memorialize all those who have given their life in the line of duty. while you keep your eyes closed and you're taking that moment, I'm going to read to you casualties of war. In the U.S. Civil War, approximately 620,000 died. In World War I, 116,516 soldiers. World War II, 405,399 soldiers. In the Korean conflict, 36,574 soldiers. In Vietnam, 58,220 soldiers. In Operation Desert Storm, Desert Shield, 383 soldiers. In Operation Iraqi Freedom, 4,421 soldiers. Operation New Dawn, 73 soldiers. Operation Enduring Freedom, 2,350 soldiers. Operation Freedom Sentinel, as of April of 2017, 22 soldiers. Operation Inherent Resolve, as of April 2017, 39 soldiers. All of those soldiers gave their life, men and women, so that we could be here today and have freedom. You may be seated.
Amen.
On Memorial Day, we do three things. We mourn those who we lost. We remember their lives. And we also reflect, rejoice, and give thanks for the sacrifice that they made. Tomorrow, this weekend, whatever your celebration is going to be, we're going to stop and we're going to remember the selfless sacrifice of those individuals. And for what? Because they got a paycheck? Nah, because they didn't do it for the paycheck. Because they wanted to have bragging rights about them being a part of the best country? No, it wasn't about bragging rights at all. It was a belief. A belief, a love for their fellow man and fellow woman. A belief that all men and women were created equal. They rallied behind a flag, a banner, not because they liked the color, not because they liked the pattern, but because they loved those who shared the belief that all men and women were created equal. And they wanted to make sure that they preserved freedom for you and for me. John 15 and verse 13. Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friend. I read the statistics, the men and women who died, who gave their life for you. For you specifically today. Not just for their friends and family, but believing in the American tradition. The love for you. And the Bible said, Jesus said, that there's not a greater love than that. In fact, when we think about it, really, some people get irritated and upset that we have barbecues, that we have parties. Man, I don't get irritated and upset about that. When I think about it, I think, man, those guys really wanted us, those ladies that gave their life and those men that gave their life, they wanted us to do that because that's what they did. They wanted to preserve that.
That's right.
They wanted us to be thankful. They wanted us to have celebration. But we can't have that without understanding that somebody paid a price so that we can do that. Tomorrow, people are going to get crazy. They're going to do dumb things. That's part of American tradition. People do dumb stuff. They died for that. I'm sure somebody was in a foxhole being like, man, I'm doing this so somebody can do something dumb someday. But somebody paid the price. I'm all for us having fun. I'm all for us going out of town. I'm all for those things. But understanding that the only reason why I do that is because somebody paid the price. Freedom is not free. Peace is not free. You having what you have, it's not free. We remember their sacrifice by placing memorials in different spots in the country or having memorials. If you go out to the cemetery tomorrow, they'll have flags up for the soldiers, for those that were in the armed forces. You could go today, I looked at the statistics, if you look at those that visit the Vietnam, the wall, the Vietnam Memorial and Arlington Cemetery and all that, it's going to be exponentially bigger. this weekend than any other weekend because people want to take time to appreciate and to give recognition for those who sacrificed their life. We have flags, we have monuments. We do this not because we just want to remember them today, but that our kids and our grandkids and their kids and all those that are hundreds of years from now, that they can go back and they can see that one day there was somebody who went somewhere and did something I couldn't do so that today I could be free. We put it in history books because we don't ever want our kids to forget that somebody, that our granddads or our great-granddads or our uncles or our dads or our brothers or our sisters, that they died so that you could have what you have today. The USS New York is a ship that was recently placed into service. Approximately 7.5 tons of steel that was placed on the bow of that ship comes from salvaged steel that was melted down from the World Trade Centers. Freedom costs. The motto of the ship, we will never forget. Something we should all take every day. We will never forget. Tomorrow, take time to say, I will not forget. I choose not to forget the sacrifice that was made. Again, we take time off, and I don't think it should all be sad. There's nothing wrong with getting sad. Remembering the sacrifice, but also understanding that those people wouldn't want us to be sad today. They'd want us to be happy. And memorialize them in a way and say, man, you know what? Man, I'm going to get excited and I'm going to do something good today. I'm going to do something for somebody else today. I'm going to take time to pass it on, to pay it forward because they paid a price for me, for you. But today, as patriotic as I am, I believe that the ultimate sacrifice was on Calvary. I believe that above all, this weekend, this morning, we can remember that Christ, the gospel, the good news, the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, above all, Him paying the price so that we can live. Is the greatest memorial that we could ever keep. I would imagine that if you talk to those that died in the line of duty, they would say the greatest memorial that you can ever keep is the memorial of the Calvary, the good news, the gospel. Job prayed in chapter 14 of Job. He asked, if a man dies, shall he live again? If we look at it from a scientific standpoint, science would say he may live again. We may figure it out. He may live again. If we look at it from a philosophical standpoint, philosophy would say he hopes to live again. From an ethical standpoint, ethics would say he ought to live again. Atheism would say he will never live again. But Jesus Christ said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. He who believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. I am the resurrection and the life.
Hallelujah.
The greatest memorial you can ever keep is the memorial of the gospel, the good news. If your life was a memorial today, what would it say? Because if you've been filled with the Holy Spirit, if you've got a relationship with Jesus Christ, your life is to be a memorial. A memorial of the changing power. A memorial of the gospel. He said, you're going to be power to be I'm going to give you power to be my witnesses. I wonder today, are we being a witness? Are we being a witness? Isaiah 61:3, to give them beauty from ashes. We are the USS New Yorks that God salvaged from a burning wreck and now has made us a spiritual force to be reckoned with. We are the ones that were burnt, bruised, broken, beaten down, that God took and transformed. He clothed us with the full armor so that we could stand. Above all, continue to stand against all forces that hell could bring against us. And be living testimonies and witnesses of His power. At Calvary, He did something that would move us and change us. Is your life a memorial today? Does Calvary mean that much to you? Have you let it transform you? Today we ought to give thanks and rejoice. We're more than conquerors. We should every day be thankful and rejoice because salvation, the sacrifice that Jesus Christ made, has made it so we will live again for eternity. We can rejoice. In fact, Paul said, hey, when you got a need, bring it to the cross. Rejoice. Give thanks. And if you do it with thankfulness, you don't have to worry about it because there's going to be a peace that passes all understanding that comes upon you. We don't have to fear. We welcome the sacrifices we make. Today we remember, memorialize, and celebrate our freedom through Christ in the lives of those who sacrificed for us. We can all stand this morning. I'm going to close.